Hello. Welcome. Today we're going to be doing another talk with another director. If you're just joining, this is another one of our sessions where we talk to industry professionals and also directors on their career, and basically we can ask them questions on how they got to where they got to. Today we're going to be speaking to Ayla Spaans. We're going to be focusing more on kind of like how she got to where she is now. She's a director who's worked with Coca-Cola, Chupa Chops. She's also had an award nominated children's television show. We can talk to her a little bit about that and her journey. So I'm going to invite her in. There we go. Hello.
Hello.
It's lovely to
Hey,
meet you.
lovely to meet you too. Thank you for the invite.
Of course. So we're going to dive straight in because we've not got
Okay.
long. But I just want to start by saying, like, I always ask every guest, like, how do you describe the work that you do?
Um, my work, I think it's playful, colorful, and there's like it's always a little bit like rebellious, and there's always some magic in there, some magic elements, and I like to play with like the childish innocence and the adult complexity. That's something that I love to work with.
Because I've actually watched a few of your pieces and I'm like in love with the style. I wanted to sort of like ask just to get to the start of it. How did you start out with directing? How did you know you wanted to be a director? Like, what was your kind of journey into this?
I I really liked film and I liked to make movies and I was just always playing and I didn't know actually what I liked, what part I liked. So I did like a technical study where I learned a lot about camera, editing, art direction. And actually by the end of that study I still didn't know what my title was. And then I applied
Right.
for working in an advertising company. And there actually I had a lot of room to play. So for 1.5 years I started as an editor and then I was really keen to work as a creative and a director. So I keep caressing the owner. Okay, can I please be in the directing team, in the creative team? And after 3 months, he's like, okay, you can go. And
So
then
you were
I
quite
was,
persistent.
yeah, I just keep asking. I was like I like editing, but I really want to. I have a lot of ideas. I want to create. I want to direct. And then at some point he's like, yeah, you can start on Monday. And there was a lot of room to play because it was a social media advertising company, and I had a lot of opportunities with short deadlines to make a lot of things, and that is really helpful because then you had some. As a director, you're not so much on set actually, if you really count the days. And there, I made a lot of hours on set, and I could explore my style and what I like to work with. So it was really nice that there was room to play. So that's
So it
actually
sounds like you kind
how
of
I
had,
started.
yeah, it sounds like you kind of had almost kind of like a boot camp of just like get in there, play, experiment, find
Yeah.
your thing. How is it that you landed on your style? Because your style's quite unique. Like you use sort of like a lot of color, a lot of like vintage-esque
Mm.
style, very pop color. So I just wanted like, how did you land on that? Because I feel like you've almost kind of landed on your own kind of like niche, if that makes sense.
Well, thank you for asking. I think I back then I didn't know my style. I was just exploring a lot, and then at some point I was a little bit more done with all the commercials, and then I was like, okay, I want to make something for myself, my own story, and then I actually just found the right people that were matching. They were matching with me, and I found just a really great team, and I was just following my intuition, and I just worked with what I loved. I was
Mm.
like, okay, I like those colors, those fabrics, those stories, that vibe, that light. And then actually it just I made like a few short films in a short period, and it was because I really had the feeling I wanted to tell those stories. And then suddenly people said, oh, you have a style. But I was actually like a bit surprised because I didn't know that I had a style, but it was just developing by the time, because I just picked with the things that I love myself, and I was not um, taking like I was not thinking what others like or what I need to make or what is nice. I just did what I loved. So
That's really good.
and
That's really
then
good.
together it turned out to be a style.
So it's almost kind of like you kind of just worked on your own intuition, and it's like, well, the style found you, and people then had
Yeah,
to point out what the style was.
yeah.
So you're like, oh, I guess this is me and what I like.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
yeah.
So then, how is it you got involved? So you'd made short films, and then you'd worked at the production company. And so then, how did you get involved with Not Just Any? Because you're signed to Not Just Any, which is a production company that focuses on CG and animation,
Yeah.
right?
So I had like 1 year where I made a lot of like 3 short films, and I published them all in the same year, and I got some nice interviews and some publication online. And then Emily actually founded me. Like she contacted me and she said, "Do you want to go for Zoom chat?" And then we just keep chatting for like 1 year or 1.5 year. And I was like, well, I don't know what the result will be, but I like her energy, and I really loved her. She's what AP and managing director, and I was just following that, and she was talking with me what kind of work you want to make. I was like, well, it would be nice to be a freelancer as a freelance director one day, but I was not thinking, it would go that quick or something. And we just kept in contact because you never know what opportunity there will be. And we were vibing, and then at some point we won a pitch, and then it was like a TV commercial in the UK for Naked, and that was actually our first collab, and and then I got to work with Not Just Any and the great team of Not Just Any. So it was nice how it went.
What was the sort of transition like from where you once were to like going to Not Just Any? Because I can imagine that maybe they did things differently from where you were working. Like, did you have to sort of, was there a change in how you did pitch decks? Was there a change in how you worked, or was there any growing pains that sort of flared up at that stage?
Um, I think I worked on commercials a bit before. So the year before, I was also with a production company in the Netherlands. So and also in the advertising agency where I worked before, we made a lot of pitch decks. So I think just I got bits from all production companies, but then I definitely feel that the working energy in London, or the quality, or it's very different than other countries. It's so yeah, for sure, it's very teamed up. Like there's a big team involved, and yeah, I like that a lot. It's another way of working.
Hmm.
What I really love.
And so now, like, what's it like working at Not Just Any? Like, what do you feel like is the sort of like major difference with Not Just Any, and how do you like it? How do you enjoy it, sort of thing?
I think what I really like is that the team is very involved, and sometimes production companies are your idea is like the Bible. But I also really like to get feedback and work with the team, and they have like a really a good team, and also someone with a lot of knowledge from special effects. And so I think what I really like is that the team is quite experienced, and then it's just a great collab.
Amazing. So also just want to remind everyone in the chat, if you're listening, you can also ask questions if you have any specific questions on navigation of career, any of that kind of stuff, because we've got Ayla here, like just in the flesh, well, on the internet flesh. So if you have any specific questions about her experience, feel free to ask at any point. So I wanted to ask you a little bit about ooh, my dying question, because you directed a TV series, a children's TV series, and was nominated for an award. I want to talk about how you got to that process and what that was like. Also, kind of changing from when you were sort of like working on sort of like commercials to then moving into that, and what that process was like.
Um, so I was actually there in the Netherlands. I think in every company, in every country, there are a lot of competitions for filmmakers. And there was I submitted for a competition for Drillab. It's like a Dutch broadcast, and got rejected like 3 times. And then there was a new competition for children. And actually, I got contacted about this competition. They're like, okay, your work is actually very playful. I think it would really fit to the children competition. I was never thinking to work like I like stories with children, and I like the innocent child stories. So actually I submitted to that project, or to that competition, and then I won. And then I could make a pilot for like 5 people could make a pilot, and then from those 5 people, some one pilot win, I could make like a full series of 6 episodes from 10 minutes.
Oh.
So it's like short. And then our pilot won, and then we could make like 6 episodes. What was great.
What was it like directing that? That sounds amazing. Because, like, what was it like? Because you're also a writer, you're also a director. What was it
Yeah.
like working on those projects, like, and going from commercials where you're working on like sort of like 30 seconds or a minute sort of projects to then going spanning to 10 minutes per
Yeah.
episode?
Yeah. It's so different. It's so different because my short films, they didn't have really dialogue, and working with children is also so different. So we did a lot of rehearsals, and we were like trying to make the team very close and connected, and yeah, going through the script, make it very in their own language. But it was, yeah, it was a difference, and like research how do you direct, what are the best tools, and yeah, and then go for it. And we were working with really great great how do you call them, actors. And we were also working with non-actors because the
Um,
children are all non-actors.
yeah.
So yeah, because the target group is like 8 till 12 or 8 till 14, and the girls were like 13, 12. So yeah, there was like they had some acting skills, but mostly were like non-actors. So yeah, it's a challenge, but I think there you need to have a lot of trust in the process, and do some rehearse, and make some surprises for them, so it still feels real.
Oh, on that topic, we do have a question. Apologies if I butcher your name. A question from Keatley Adams. How does your production approach differ between dialogue-heavy scenes versus montage versus movement-led scenes? Because you've got quite a bit of movement-led work as well, like you've in music videos and just different things that you've done. So yeah.
Let me read. How does the pre-production approach is different between the dialogue-heavy scenes versus montage? How is it? I'm wondering how to so to clarify the pre-production approach between
So I
heavy.
guess in this sense, it's like if you're working on a scene, and how does your sort of preparation, because I suppose if it's a dialogue heavy scene starting out, is there something you do differently to, say, for example, a montage? Because it might be that for a montage you're just like, let's just get it. You might experiment because you're quite experimental when it comes to like what you want to get. It might just be you just want to grab it really quickly, or are you kind of like, do you sit your actors down, do rehearsals when you're doing like a dialogue heavy scene? How do
Yeah.
you?
We actually did a lot of like rehearsals with the cast, and especially the more difficult scenes, the more emotional scenes, especially with the kids. We are just talking a lot about it, and talking about
Okay.
the scene, and talking about the character, and ask questions, and see what they think, and yeah, just asking a lot of questions, and also really stay close to them. Like, what do they think? How would they act it out? How would they do it? That's actually how we approach it, mostly, because that's yeah, to keep it more authentic.
Oh wow! So then it's almost, it kind of feels like with your visuals as well as kind of like your process, it is quite playful and it's quite collaborative. So it's almost like you speak to people and go, okay, we want to get as authentic experiences as possible. So you'd actually chat to them and be like, hey, like, this is your time to collaborate, essentially.
Yeah, I think it could work really nice. Well, with commercials it's the opposite, because with commercial it's like it's that sentence, and sometimes you can give a little bit your own twist, but it's like you had like 20 minutes meetings before, and then there is not really room to play.
Mm.
But I also like that difference
Mm.
between those two, yeah, worlds. Actually, it's so different. Um, and now I'm going more towards fiction, and I like actually to have the room to play, and and there's more room for magic, what I really like. And filmmaking in general is very like a process of magic, but I feel with fiction there's even more room to play. Yeah.
Get what you mean, yeah. So I just wanted to ask a little bit about sort of your experience. Well, not necessarily your experience, but with your, yeah, with your experience up to this point, is there anything